To some of us old-timers who remember early television, Dr. Cliff Ricketts reminds us of Don Herbert, better known as Mr. Wizard. Ricketts, who is professor in the School of Agribusiness and Agri-Science, seems right at home tinkering around in his shop full of tools, tanks, and automobiles. He'd be the first to tell you that he's not an engineer by profession, but his passion is alternative fuels and figuring out how to run a car or truck on anything other than conventional oil and gasoline.
This has a lot of implications for world peace because we are in the Mideast now, partially because of oil. We were directly there in '91 because of oil. And then the other big thing, it has tremendous implications for jobs and the balance of the economy. Because from what I understand, our trade imbalance is mainly due to the purchase of foreign oil. Well, again, I mentioned analogous to the Wright brothers because the thing that we got here is not what you would use in a commercial situation, but we've done it, and we could do it, and so we've got a system in place that every commuter in the country could daily drive off sun and water.
Recently, Ricketts drove his red Toyota Tercel across the state of Tennessee from the northeast to the southwest corner, a trip of 500 miles using water and solar power only. How'd he do it? Well, he can steer you into as much detail as you want, and he can show you buttons, belts, hoses, meters, solar panels, each having a distinct and important function in the overall operation.
The trip went flawless, but it took literally 23 years to even make that trip, and even when I made the first one, I went 13 miles and scrapped it, and that was 4 years ago. Okay. A lot of people ask, well, where are you going from here? Well, as I said, my number one vehicle is the Prius, and what I want to do next year is drive from coast to coast just on 10 gallons of gasoline.
When you hear his explanation, you'll know why Cliff Ricketts is beloved by so many current and former students, and why he's exactly where he should be, in the college classroom.
I was down at Nashville Auto Diesel College about 3 or 4 weeks ago for the National Odyssey Day. And the gentleman come up to me that is the career placement guy at Nashville Auto Diesel. He said, my uncle used to work with you. I said, who? He said, Jonathan Blunt. I said, really? I said, that's great. He said, he's coming up I-40 right now to take his dad to the doctor. I'm going to tell him you're here. So he pulls in, and I've got one of the vehicles on demonstration, and I'm telling about the first time we ran an engine off water, October the 14th, 1987, and created a bomb in the process. So he walks up behind me and says, I was there, I was with him, and his dad was with him. So I bragged on Jonathan, which he should have been bragged on, and how much he was a part of all of this. And then he met me in Jackson again. He said, Doc, he said, my dad don't talk. He's 84 years old. And he said to think that his son was a part of something like this made his life. And he said he told my mother, he said, you made my dad's life.
With a little prompting, Mr. Wizard sets up his table display and begins his demonstration. There's a lot the average person doesn't understand when Cliff gets rolling, because his enthusiasm just tumbles out of his mouth in the form of big words and complex processes.
This here is the basis of the apparatus that I used in 1987 that I ran my first engine off water. So we simply put water in it, water out of the tap. And then we put Drano in it, our potassium hydroxide, which is a catalyst enzyme. Now, we put it back together, and then we hook the cathode up to the positive electrode of the battery. We hook the anode up to the negative post of a battery. Now, due to the chemical process then, and you probably did this in high school chemistry then it starts separating the hydrogen and oxygen out of the water. We would start with sun and water, and through all these processes I told you about, we wind up with hydrogen.
If only you could harness Cliff Ricketts and store his zest for life and learning in tanks to power the forces of knowledge. One thing is for sure. When Ricketts climbs into his Toyota Tercel this year to make his cross-country run using only about 10 gallons of gasoline, riding shotgun will be his dream of seeing this country less dependent on fossil fuels and more self-reliant on the creativity and innovation that made America what it is.
And they're not learning it in classes. So we wanted to provide a space where anyone, regardless of their knowledge level or major, could walk in and
Well, we're back. Welcome back to more of Out of the Blue. I'm Bob Pondillo, and I'm happy you're joining us today. This is the part of the show where we go inside MTSU and find out what's going on, who's doing what, and some interesting things that are happening. And today's certainly not a this is what we're going to do. Heather Lambert is here. Dr. Lambert is an associate professor of emerging technologies and a librarian at the James E. Walker Library here on campus. Thanks so much for coming, if I may.
Thanks for having me.
Heather, nice to have you. Now, you're part, you do many things, but one of the things you're part of is the Digital Media Studio located at Walker Library. I have not a clue what that means. Can you tell me about that?
I can, yeah.
All right.
So we noticed that students were needing to be able to create multimedia presentations.
Right.
And they were lacking two things. One, the facilities to do that, and two, the knowledge. It doesn't matter whether you're going to be a chef, a chemist, a geologist, or an English teacher, you need to be able to make a good multimedia presentation.
Certainly these days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about, because we're sort of a media-drenched culture,
Exactly.
iconic, icon-driven, and that kind of stuff. So you got to know this stuff.
Right, and it has to be beyond PowerPoint.
Right.
And they're not learning it in classes. So we wanted to provide a space where anyone, regardless of their knowledge level or major, could walk in and get on a piece of equipment and make a movie or edit a video or create a documentary or a DVD or create an orchestrated piece.
Wow.
And so this is what our little area does.
That's awesome. I didn't know
is.
that. And it has, now, so let's say I'm a student and I want to do a documentary on something. Let's choose something, I don't know, an automobile or something, for lack of a better thing to think of. And I can go in there and I could say I'm clueless about how this stuff works. What will you do for me? How could you help me?
Right,
if
we'll
I
help
was
you in
that-
three ways.
All right.
First is we can help you with the research to help you find good resources.
Okay.
Take advantage of some image archives, help you find the footage that you need, and also the good sound research behind it.
Now, what happens if those images are copyrighted?
I'm so glad that you asked that.
Thank you. Happy to.
That's a big issue right now.
Sure.
A lot of students and even faculty don't understand what fair use is and how copyright works, and they assume if they own the song or find the image online, they can use it, and that's not the case.
Not true.
So we work really hard to educate about copyright in a way that's not too painful, and we have a media resource library of copyright happy, copyright approved images, sound, music, the whole 9 yards that they can use.
Oh,
So we provide alternatives.
So there are stuff you can use.
There's
If you
lots
wanted
of
to
things
show
out
an
there.
image of a balloon or something, you can do that
Absolutely.
without getting in trouble with anybody.
Exactly.
Super. How about the actual writing of it, though?
Okay.
That's more up to you, I suppose.
Well, that's up to the student, but we
Yeah.
do have the Writing Center in the library now, so they're just a floor away, so that they can help you with the outline. And once you get what you want to do and you get the raw materials together, you can come back in, and we have students and staff that will help you learn the equipment, find the program that's best for you, and get started.
You know, it's so much more than the Dewey Decimal System. I mean, when you
Yeah.
think of libraries, you think, well, that's where the books are. And yes, the books and periodicals and stuff are there, but man, it's changed a great deal. A lot.
Library is about information, and we know that having to be able to access information and make something new and be collaborative and work with our students is where libraries are going, and we want to be part of that.
Just looking at all the various stuff you have, it's just incredible. This idea of web design is huge now, too, where you have to, not only, like you said, the PowerPoints, and they may be a little bit even more,
Yes.
better than PowerPoints.
Yeah.
But to have a web presence is like essential. You can't not have one, it seems. And you can help people with that as well?
Absolutely. That not only can we help them with that, but we can help them understand. We run an open source and a commercial lab, half and half, which is a little unique.
Explain open source.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So commercial software, you buy it, you install it, and it's
Right.
done. And if you want to buy the upgrade, you buy it next year. And that's the end of the story.
Cost you a lot of money, right.
And we do have that. But we also run half open source, which means that we work with products that are readily available online, that are supported by a community of developers that
Okay.
change. It's a very vibrant product.
So it's like Linux, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's open
yeah.
source. It's available for anyone to use. So we
Right.
try to find open source alternatives to all our commercial products so that if students find a product that they like, they can download it on their home PC and continue to use
And
it.
it doesn't cost you a dime, actually.
Right.
As part of stuff I do here, I help kids write short movies, short films, narrative films. And we use something called the Keltex system, which is open source. It's free, and it works as good as the $200, system you can buy.
Yeah.
So that's a wonderful idea.
Yeah.
especially
It's important
these
to
days.
be able to find something at every level of economic ability. So.
Yeah. Now, as far as DVD creation, so a student or me or whoever, a faculty person could actually go in and produce a DVD, which is for some reason very mysterious to me, but
Yeah,
I know
absolutely.
how it works. I just don't know how to make it go on there.
Yeah,
So
we can do it.
you can help us
Yeah.
with that. And you have all the different computer systems, all the different platforms, Mac, PC.
We have
and-
Macs. We have 12 iMacs with 27-inch screens, and then we have 10 PCs with 24-inch screens.
Oh, okay.
And they're all loaded up with all kinds of goodies. So.
So come on down.
Yeah.
Now, if parents are watching this and they've got students, most students these days are sort of natives, as they say.
Right,
in
digital
terms of
natives, yep.
Digital natives in terms of understanding stuff, much more than me. But that means that when they come to a school here, and when they come here, they should have at least that level of knowledge, right, and more. And I think that's where you come in. Right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
right.
So you're going to be able to help them
Help
with
fill the gaps.
excellent. And it says here, very collaborative. So
Absolutely.
you're not really going to tell them what to do. You're just going to help them sort of get
Right.
there. Right?
Our area is collaborative. You can put 5 or 6 kids at each computer, and then we want to work with you as a partner.
Can you check stuff out if you need to take stuff home with you or something?
No, but we do allow you to bring in any camcorders or videos or equipment that you have.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. And instruction and assistance, so don't be nervous, it says.
Exactly.
Will help. And I wonder, do you get people that are just completely clueless?
Absolutely, and we love it.
Okay, well, that would be me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
okay.
that's great.
I'd like to be loved.
Come on down.
I'll come over, absolutely. I'm a faculty member here, so I should. Yeah, in fact, because I teach in Mass Comm and it goes so fast, everything, the technology changes so quickly, they do expect you to go get extra training.
Right.
And they do send you out places to learn it, but just to come across the campus to get this.
Yeah,
would
we have
be-
a lot of faculty that think they have to sneak in, and we tell them it's okay. Come on in.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Heather.
Thanks
I
for having
appreciate you
me.
coming by. Heather Lambert is Associate Professor of and Emerging Technologies Librarian at the Walker Library here on campus at MTSU. If you ever have a chance to come and take a little tour, come to the library, check it out. Open, happy, wonderful people that aren't grumpy.
No.
And don't wear buns. Not mostly. Well, anyway, so thank you again, Heather. We
Thanks.
appreciate it. We'll be back with more of Out of the Blue in just a moment. Stay with us.